Hello, everybody. So we're coming on live.
Yes, and we're going to try to figure out the technology part of it and give us a minute to figure that out. We're going to see if we can add our cute Brittney. So what happens here? Not that.
So this is, we've done it once before, and it was just us and Brittney on, but we have, oh, there she is. So
Okay.
Let's see if we can add her.
Approve her.
Approve.
Send request. She should be there. Hey, Donna. Donna Pelfrey. Hey, Vicki. Glad that you guys are here. Let's see it say.
Lucky there. You better watch out. We're understanding technology now. We're getting dangerous.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
We're pretty proud of ourselves that we just did that. How are
It
you?
was very impressive. Yeah.
It was nice and smooth, wasn't it?
It was. Just easy peasy. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Awesome. Look at all these people that are joining us tonight. Hey, everybody. This is our sweet friend Brittney, and we're just going to give you guys a little bit of time to come on. My mom will be joining us. She's not here at the house. I know you guys thought that mom would be here. Brittney, we've been telling all of our followers that my mom is going to be here, and she is coming tomorrow.
Okay.
So she's going to be joining us from Florida. So
she will be at Angela's house, which is Annie's sister, and they'll both be on.
yeah.
And then we have another individual that'll be coming on a little later, Becky, as well. So we have an opportunity to hear from 3 other individuals, which is exciting. But we thought we'd start tonight with my story. And we actually have 2 anniversaries to celebrate today. Today is the 11th year since my stroke. It happened on April 28th, back in 14. And I had 11 years of struggles of going up and down and trying to find answers to my health issues. And finally, last October, I kind of threw my hands up when I went to the doctor, and I was too heavy, and my A1C was an 8.3. And Annie had been listening to Brittney talk to her life coach, Judy, and they had talked about this protocol. So I started this protocol 6 months ago today, and I'm 30 pounds lighter, and my last A1C, which was this past Thursday, was a 5.6. I am extremely excited about where I'm at health-wise, what's going on, and happy to be able to be here tonight with you guys and be alive, just be alive. So.
And Brittney, we talk about God winks all the time on our page, and it's just kind of amazing that 11 years ago to the day, we're on here tonight, and we would have never believed that we would have been here. Like, we just felt like we were trying to do all the things, and the struggle was so real. And then 6 months exactly, Daryl started the protocol, and it's all we want to talk about, because we have so many people that, especially that follow us, that are our ages, that are on medication, that struggle with all of their metabolic health. So we're so grateful for you, because I mean, if it hadn't been for you just kind of sharing your knowledge and what you know, then we wouldn't be here. It's just God wink after God wink that has led us here. So anyway, we just thought we'd let you just kind of take over from here.
Yeah. Okay, well, wonderful. I mean, I got to tell you, Daryl, it's the coolest thing ever that you're alive, and that you're not just alive, but like doing better than you have done in years, right? As long as you can really remember, this is your best health. And that doesn't happen for very many people. Usually post-stroke, you just kind of steadily go downhill. It's just the reality. You do everything you can to keep things at bay and to stay as stable as you can, but it's a little bit of a downhill slope, and you just go as slowly as possible down that hill. And I just think it's absolutely amazing, some of the results you've recently got. Like, I've shared this before. I think I shared this on this page even, that like a personal, the personal touch that it is for me, because you know what's happening for you unfortunately like didn't happen for my dad. And even though that makes me sad in a lot of ways, it's also like the biggest win I can say, because to have somebody else, to have the things that I have now learned, the things that I wish I would have known 10 or 15 years before my dad went down the path he did, to be able to share that knowledge and have it actually work and impact somebody's life, it is the most satisfying, gratifying thing I can imagine. And there are things about your journey and your story that just really hit home for me. And so I'm just so grateful that you took a chance on it, that you were willing to go all in and take a leap of faith. And we're going to talk about that today. I see a lot of questions in the chat already. Like, what is this? I want to hear about the protocol. How do I find it? Where do I find it? What do I do? And we're going to cover all of that. Not only will you find out like where you can find it, how to get it at a discount, and how to get taken care of while you use this, because we want to make sure you get it from the right place so that we can hold your hand, walk you through it, make sure you know exactly what to do. We want you to have the coaching that you need so that you can be successful with this. And so we're going to explain to you exactly where to find it. We're also going to explain a little bit about some different varieties of stories. I mean, Daryl was in kind of an extreme place. Post-stroke, type 2 diabetic, numbers really high, on medication. His story is, you know, one of those outstanding ones. And there are a lot of people on this live that can probably relate. And then there are some of you who think, well, I'm actually doing pretty well. I don't know if this is something I would need, which is kind of how Annie felt, right? Maybe this isn't for me. And I got to tell you, like, that's kind of where I was. I was being real healthy, but I also knew I wanted to prevent. I was looking at this like preventative healthcare. And I was looking at this for, I don't want to go down that path. And so how can I avoid that? So yes, it's covered by HSA. Yes, it's covered by FSA. This is something that is affordable for literally everyone. I'm going to explain that to you. And also it's something that is working better than medication in many cases for things like cholesterol balance, blood sugar balance, weight management, gut health issues, inflammation, and nobody really knows about it. And so part of this call is us telling you about this protocol and explaining to you how you can get it at the best possible price. And the other part of this call is letting you know that we need to get this into more homes. We need to share it with more people. I am so grateful that Daryl and Annie have been brave enough to use this platform with people who they trust and that trust them. And trust me, they did not take this lightly. This is a big, bold move for them. And they would not have started talking about this on their platform until they were very sure that this was the it factor, that this was the thing that moved the needle for Daryl. And now they feel like it's almost unethical not to share about it. But maybe you have people in your circle of influence, and I don't know if this is something you're going to be interested in, but there is a way to refer people to this system and actually earn money doing that. If that freaks you out and it's not your thing and you cringe just hearing that, no worries. You do not have to do that at all. But some of you might be interested or curious about that. We live in a day and age of affiliate links and referral programs. Pretty much every company under the sun does this now. And this company is no different. They have a really, really fair referral program. And so we're not going to get into the details of that tonight, but if that's something that you are interested in, there is 2 calls on Wednesday. There's one during the day on Wednesday, and there's one in the evening on Wednesday. And we can give you, if you're interested in those calls, you can reach out, let us know, put Zoom in the comment section, and we'll make sure that you get the Zoom link for those calls that explain the referral program, okay? And we can talk a little bit more about that in the way that it's blessed Daryl and Annie too. But let's talk about the protocol for just a minute. And let me just also, I meant to do this in the beginning, I'm gonna do it again. Grab a picture of my dad. This is my dad. My dad got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer at age 58. And that was the biggest shock ever. And we have now learned that his high cholesterol and his high blood pressure and his weight always fluctuating. I mean, my dad was there's 7 children in my family, and he held the mantle of providing for us and caring for us. And, you know, when he was stressed, food was kind of the medicine for that. My dad never drank, he never smoked, he didn't abuse any substances, but food was his medicine, and food helped him cope with stress. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And, you know, we didn't realize how connected your metabolic health would be to diabetes and cholesterol and blood pressure and cancer. In fact, I kind of thought of those things as like genetic, and you either got it or you didn't get it, and it was just luck of the draw. But now we are learning that that's just not the case. And that by addressing the root of the problem, which is insulin resistance, by really going after the hormone and the metabolic problems, you can solve for so many of your other problems. And Daryl, maybe you can speak to for just a second. I mean, were you, when you went in and your A1C was, what was it, 8.3? 8.3. Were you on medication at that time?
Oh, absolutely. I was on metformin and Jardiance, and then she wanted to put me on an additional shot, once a week shot. And that was kind of when I just threw my hands up and said, no more, or I'm going to try something else. And that's where Unicity stepped in. So
okay, imagine Daryl's situation, a type 2 diabetic that's fully medicated and still unable to get his numbers managed. And so the doctors are doing everything they know how to do to help you. And they have lots of great resources. And the resources that they have do help move the numbers. The problem is they're a Band-Aid. They don't actually go after the root of the problem. And you just end up needing more and more and more. And anybody who's ever gotten put on metformin knows. You start on 500 milligrams, and then they up it to 1,000, and then it goes up from there. And the next thing you're offered is a shiny needle. This is how it goes. And so I am on this mission because a lot of the medications that my dad was on for his psoriasis, I later found out had a black box warning of colon cancer. And I know at the bottom of my heart, I know that none of those doctors intended for my dad to get cancer. They were all trying to help him. Absolutely. But unfortunately, because we didn't realize that his problem was rooted somewhere else, you know, those medications, they cleared up his skin, but they led to colon cancer for him. And so I, whenever possible, and I'm not against medication, and like, in fact, I like working alongside medication, but whenever possible, if there's a way to have less medication and more lifestyle changes, that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all in for. And I really believe, because I've now seen it thousands of times, that you can address with lifestyle actions and slowly ease off medications under a doctor's supervision. And so this protocol is fantastic. Maybe we could bring on, do we want to start with Judy? And if Judy's here, let's see if we can add her. I won't be able to do it, but if you guys can see her, let's just bring her in with us right now. And yeah.
Does she have to request it?
So if you can find her, Judy, if you're here, you should request. That'll make it a lot easier for Daryl and Annie. If you can request to join, there's like a little people icon at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
And if you click that, then it'll request and then they can accept it. But you may also see Judy. You can type in Judy's name and then you can invite her to join and then she can accept.
Okay.
So we'll try it both ways. And while we're waiting for her.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I've got 3. So
approve mom.
Where did she
Just
go?
mom.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, I see her there. She is here. She says, I'm
Oh,
here.
there we go. And send request. Oh,
Okay. You guys keep sending those requests. Now, I just want to address some of the questions in the comment section. I'm seeing people talk about caffeine. They're worried about AFib. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a doctor. I'm definitely not your doctor. And so I want to be super clear that I don't want to give medical advice to anyone. I do want to tell you some stories of experiences of people that I've worked with, and you should go to your doctor and clear all of this. The beauty of this protocol is that it is in the physician's desk reference. So they can actually look it up and they can see it's classified as what's called a nutraceutical. Sounds like pharmaceutical. but it's not a pharmaceutical. It's not a medication. A nutraceutical is something natural that works as well as medication, but has no side effects. And that's what this is. And I know a lot of people whose heart problems, including AFib, have gotten better while sipping on this. You would want to ease into it slowly, but it's a 2-part system. When you order it, you get a 30-day supply of both products, okay? One of the products is this mate. It's a yerba mate concentrate that you're going to sip first thing in the morning when you wake up. I usually drink it hot. You can drink it hot. You can drink it cold. Doesn't matter. You sip on it throughout the morning and you continue your fast because you've been sleeping. So you haven't been eating while you're sleeping for most of us. And so we're going to continue that fast throughout the morning while we're sipping on this. And then you can have your second one, depending on how early you wake up. You might want your second one a little later in the morning, maybe 10 a.m. or so. Then you're going to have your lunch, okay? And then you're going to have your dinner. You could choose to have your second mate in between lunch and dinner if you find yourself getting snacky at that time. You get 2 of these mates per day. You have them anytime you're not eating, okay? They are like willpower in a packet. They make you forget about food. They really do. It's crazy. It's like Daryl has expressed that he tried fasting before and absolutely physically could not do it.
Just couldn't do it.
And tell us what you noticed when you started drinking mate.
The hunger pains went away. I was able to drive to work, which is about an hour and 20 minutes away, and not be tempted to stop at a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A and get breakfast, which before that product was always difficult. I could hardly pass any restaurant on my way to Tuscaloosa. But with that, I can make it all the way to my desk and I can work for 2 or 3 hours and then have lunch. So it's great.
That's so amazing. Okay, so everybody is asking such good questions in the comment section, and I want to tell you something. This is something that you can absolutely talk to your doctor about. It's a mate. It's not synthetic GLP-1. It's not like you're ingesting GLP-1. But when you sip on this, it gets your body to produce more of that hormone naturally. So where a lot of people are using Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, tirzepatide, all the different injectables that help synthetically increase that number, which, by the way, the reason that people are using the weight loss injections is because it's true that if you have metabolic problems, you're probably low in GLP-1. And when they give you that injection, it helps because we need more of the GLP-1. But what most people don't tell you is you can get your body to produce it naturally. This ups your body's production of that hormone by 70% when you sip on it. Pretty phenomenal. Then the second part of this system is the balance. It's the fiber that you're going to drink before your meal. This also increases GLP-1. And GLP-1 turns down food noise. I want to make a comment because a couple of people have mentioned liver and thyroid and some different things in the comment section. The amazing thing about the mate is it actually improves your liver function. So if you have high liver enzymes or your liver is sluggish, this is going to improve its function. It's going to help you detox quicker and get rid of oxidative stress. It shrinks fat cells while you're sipping on it, and it enhances your muscles. This is a phenomenal pre-workout. It's excellent if you're lifting weights. There are a lot of athletes, professional athletes, that are using this as their beverage of choice during their workouts. And so you will find your mood is boosted, your mind is clear, you forget about food, but you don't feel like a jittery spike from caffeine and a crash. It does contain some naturally existing caffeine, but it's more like the caffeine that you get from dark chocolate. So if you can tolerate dark chocolate pretty well, I think you'll be able to tolerate this pretty well too. When you intermittent fast, in general, it helps with a lot of things. I mean, fasting, even if you don't use this, you should start doing some intermittent fasting, because fasting does a lot of the heavy lifting. It helps so much with getting your body to recycle old yucky cells and fix your gut microbiome. There's a lot of healing that takes place. It's just, for most people, it's pretty hard to do. This makes it easier. And if you're already good at fasting, you might as well enhance the benefits by sipping on this, right? And the fiber part, I actually thought it would be fun. I should have done this, and maybe if we can get Judy on here, I don't know, are we having any luck with that?
I think it's on our side. I can't add Judy, Angela, or Becky for some reason.
Okay, so
Or what.
Judy, Angela, Becky, all of you should be sending requests as best you can. Just send the request, because that will be easier for Daryl and Annie to see and then accept. So if you guys can just keep sending requests, and in the meantime, no problem. I was thinking we might want to do a little bit of a demonstration where we could show you what happens with this fiber. And in a minute here, I'll go grab a cup so I can show you. But when you first mix this up, you mix it up with about 8 ounces of water. And when you drink it down, it drinks down just fine. But if you let it sit on the counter, it starts thickening up. Okay, this is what happens inside your stomach. This is what we want. It will line and coat your intestines with this kind of gooey, fiberish mesh. Okay, this is what we want, because what happens when you have your lining covered with that is then the foods that you eat after that, they get stuck in that gooey mesh that's in your gut. And the sugar that's in the food that you eat, and I don't mean sugar, but really anything you eat breaks down into energy, okay? Glucose, we'll call it. That glucose usually goes straight into your bloodstream. But when there's this fiberish mesh in there, it gets stuck in that, and it takes a lot longer for it to get into your bloodstream, which is why Daryl is seeing his blood sugar numbers improve. This is why he's not having a big spike and a crash, which by default helps so much, because then your body doesn't have to pump out as much insulin. In fact, I was just talking today. Is it your niece or your cousin, maybe?
It's my
Annie,
cousin.
your cousin, that's right. Okay, so Annie has a cousin that's a type 1 diabetic. And ever since she's been using this protocol, she's only a couple weeks into it, so she's brand new. But the reason she wanted to use it is because even though she's only a type 1 diabetic, which, you know, that's just an autoimmune thing, that isn't a lifestyle thing, but still you can end up becoming insulin resistant. And because she has an insulin pump that's constantly giving her this steady flow of insulin, if she has too much insulin in her body, just like anybody else, your body can start becoming insulin resistant from an overexposure to the insulin hormone. And so she's a type 1 diabetic who is starting to creep into the type 2 category. Now she's becoming a double diabetic, okay? And so her doctor has put her on some medication for this to help calm down the sugars. Now, ever since she's been using this protocol, she noticed in the first couple of weeks, like, oh man, I'm starting to feel really good. She was going from using 50 units a day of insulin to about 35. So she wasn't needing as much insulin, and she was really happy with those results. Well, just recently, she's noticed she's almost getting too low, and it's making her feel kind of nauseous. Well, you would think, oh no, should she stop the system? But what's probably happening is she doesn't need that medication, or she can lower her dose for that medication, because this is doing something naturally for her that her medication was having to do artificially. How nice to not be dependent on a medication, right? And so she's going to start working with her doctor and tapering down on her medication. That is the goal. If we're not reliant on medication, we can use plants and food as medicine. Let's do that. It's side effect free, right? And most of us aren't getting anywhere near enough fiber. We're supposed to be getting 50 plus grams a day. Some doctors will say, oh, you only need 28 to 38 grams. But really, our ancestors were getting over 100 grams. If we could get 50 grams a day, that would be fantastic for us. It's just almost impossible, because fiber has been stripped from all of our foods. Even our fruits and vegetables don't have very much anymore. And fiber is what feeds and fertilizes your good gut microbes. Fiber helps lower cholesterol and triglycerides and blood sugars. It makes you feel full longer. And so replacing this is going to help you so much. And the combination with these two things has worked fantastically. One nod I want to make to this product: how many people on this live remember Rexall drugs? Do you remember Rexall drugs? drugs company. This was a pharmacy that I grew up with. You have to be a little older to remember this, but it was kind of like the mom and pop pharmacy that was around everywhere. Okay. And Rexall actually is the one that came out with this fiber and patented it a long time ago in the early 90s. Okay. Doesn't that sound like not a long time ago, but now it's technically a long time ago. Okay. And so in the 90s, they came out with this, they patented it. They knew it would work fantastically. They proved the Cleveland Clinic, which is the top heart hospital in America, did a double-blind placebo test on this. And their concluding statement, think about this for a minute. This should have made the headline news, okay? The top heart hospital in America said, such a product, if used regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and decrease the need and or dose for lipid lowering prescription drugs. Those are statins. So you had Cleveland Clinic, the most powerful heart hospital in the world, saying that if you drink this, you probably won't need your statin. Everybody should have heard about this. The whole world, but of course, nobody heard about it because that's a pretty threatening statement to a billion-dollar industry. The number one medication we prescribe in America is statins. And so nobody's going to tell you publicly that if you drink this, you don't need your statin. But you're hearing it from me today, and there's proof that you can look up. It's not my opinion. There is scientific proof that this works. The Rexall guys made a mistake, though. They thought that they could put this in a box next to Metamucil and Benefiber and that it would sell. And this costs more than Metamucil and Benefiber. And so what ended up happening was people go to the grocery store or the pharmacy and they say, I need more fiber, and they just get whatever's on sale. Because in their mind, fiber is fiber. Why do I need this one, right? And nobody's there to tell them the educational piece of the ones you're buying at the grocery store have a single form of fiber. Fantastic if you need to have a bowel movement, but that's about it. This is designed to lower triglycerides and LDL cholesterol and blood sugar. This will help you feel full longer. This will help with your gut health. This helps in so many other, this helps lower insulin levels in your body. And so they knew they had this product, but they knew they needed to have that education piece. And then it was about 2019-ish where they realized that really to get the best results, we needed to follow some of Dr. Jason Fung, Dr. Walter Longo, Dr. Mindy Pell, some of these forward-thinking doctors who were trying to preach as loud as they could about fasting. But you see, fasting's free. Doesn't make anybody any money. And so nobody was really making a big deal about fasting. Nobody's really talking about it. In fact, the food companies were telling us otherwise. They were telling us breakfast was the most important meal of the day. And all the dietitians were telling us that we needed to have 6 small meals to keep our blood sugar stable. And so we had this opposing counsel. But as time has gone on, there has been more and more proof that intermittent fasting works and that it helps. And when this mate got released and we realized that it was literally willpower in a packet that would make fasting easy, we put this combination together and magic has happened. It's not actually magic, it's just science, but it works fantastically. So I've talked for a long time without telling these people how to find this. You guys are probably Googling all over the internet. Make sure you get this discount. Daryl and Annie can give you $75 off. So if you want to purchase this product, tell them where they go.
Okay, so you're gonna tell them?
Miss Annie's homeandkitchen.com/fiber. That'll
That's
take
it.
you to our landing spot, and from there you can find the product.
Okay, Miss Annie's. And let me just say too, if somebody else invited you to this live, you can get back with them and they may have a link for you as well.
True.
Because Daryl and Annie now have a couple partners who have joined with them and said, you know what? I have people that I know of that could use this. And they have a referral link now. And they are the ones that you want to get your fiber through. But if it's Daryl and Annie that told you about it, then that's who you want to buy it from. So go to darylandannie.com/fiber. Is that right?
Miss Annie's
It's a
Home
lot.
and Kitchen.
It's
Oh, sorry.
home and kitchen.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. Miss
Okay.
Annie's home,
Home and kitchen.
A&D, right?
Yeah, all spelled out. Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen
Dot.
.com/fiber.
Okay, there we go, guys. Now you have it. Now you have it. And go to that link. That's how you're going to get the discount on the fiber. Now, we have a May challenge that's happening. It starts May 1st. So if you're on the East Coast in America, and maybe you're in a different country, this ships to over 50 countries. So even if you're in a different country, you can get this, okay? And it actually ships locally in those countries. It's not shipping from America. But if you're in America, there's a warehouse in Atlanta, and then there's another one in Vegas. So depending on where you are in America will depend on where yours will ship from. It gets to you pretty quickly. So even if you don't get your kit by May 1st, you can still join the challenge. You get access to our free gift with purchase 30-day challenge. In this challenge, you're going to be able to come and join this free group. And after you purchase, Daryl and Annie or whoever invited you to the slide will give you admission into this private group. There are food guides, fasting calendars, workouts. There will be daily videos posted that teach you a little something, 2 to 3 minute videos, where bite-sized little something that gives you a negative information where you can learn and you can go, oh, okay, got it. Now I'm gonna do that better because I didn't realize why I was supposed to do that. Now I do realize why, right? So we teach you as you go in a digestible, easy way, and you'll be checking in each day. There are a bunch of coaches in that group that can answer your hard questions. There's also a whole frequently asked questions section. There's before and after photos. There is an archive of information in this Made Challenge group, but you want to order now because it's going to take a couple days to get to you, and we're going to start on May 1st. If you don't get your products till after May 1st, no problem. You're going to get admission into the group as soon as you purchase, and then you're going to just jump in and start as soon as your products arrive. Okay. And if you already have the system and you purchased it through Daryl and Annie, you're allowed. You already have access to this group. Just let us know. We'll make sure you get the link and you'll be able to join. And then there's nothing you need to do. In fact, those of you who have already gotten a bit of a jump start and started using this, I can't wait to see what your results are at the end of May 30th, because you'll have already been on it for a minute, and then you're going to go all in May, and you're going to be one of these stories. Okay, I'm going to see some questions, and you guys, are we still struggling to get, okay, yes. Anybody who, and also anybody who's saying we didn't get the discount. So if you go online and you purchase this, it's $235, okay? If you use the discount link, it will be $159. So if you spent $159, you got the discount, okay? That was applied. That shakes out to be about $5 a day. So when I was talking about this being cost neutral, the reason I say that is because we skip a meal and snacks each day. So you take the money that you would have spent on that meal and snacks, which, I mean, how much is breakfast? You guys tell me. Even if you go get a beverage somewhere, how much is a coffee at Starbucks, right? It's over $5. I know that much, okay? So you take the money that you would have spent on breakfast and snacks and you purchase this instead. And if you did not get the discount, please message us immediately. Tell us your name and your email address. And what we can do is we can let the company know that you meant to purchase through Daryl and Annie, and we will get your account credited that amount that you overpaid. Okay, so that we can totally do that, and we can get you linked up with us right away. So it's no problem if that happened, but let's get you on track, because when you purchase through a link, through somebody who gives you a referral link, you get that discount forever. That's your price. So we don't want anybody out there paying $235. There's just no use. Then you don't have the coaching help and you pay more than you need to. Okay, so I'm going to answer some questions, but I also wanted to make sure everybody knows, I said this earlier, I'll say it again. There are a couple calls this week. I don't know if you're interested in this. If you're not interested, just disregard it. But if you would like to know how you can earn money when you refer people to the system, oh, I'm so
There
glad
we
we got Judy.
go. We kept
Yes.
trying. We finally got it.
Okay, Judy, hang on one second. I'm going to tell them how they can come to these calls and then we're going to talk. Okay, so if you would like to learn how you can earn money when you refer people to use the system and you want to give people the discount and you want to take care of these people, you can join with us. We'll help you take care of these people. Come to the Wednesday call. Put Zoom in the comments and we'll make sure and follow up with you and make sure you have the link to both the daytime Wednesday call and the nighttime Wednesday call so that you can learn about the referral program. Now, if you come to that Zoom call, you're not committed to joining. It is just informational. It's just, if you're even the least bit curious, comment Zoom. We'll follow up with you. You can listen into the call and you can just see what you think. It might be your thing. It might not be your thing, but at least you'll be informed. If that's not your thing, or maybe it is your thing, but you also would like to learn a little bit more about the science, we have a science call tomorrow night. So that's another thing you can type in the chat. You can say science. And if you say science, we'll follow up with you and make sure you have the link to the science call, which is Tuesday night. Now, the science call is just medical professionals teaching you. It's free. There's no strings attached. You don't even have to be a customer. Anybody can listen into the science call. All right. So science call on Tuesday, how to refer and earn money on Wednesday, the business side of things. Okay. So I see the comments coming in and I appreciate that. Judy.
Yes.
This is great news. We figured it out. I love it. And hey, while we're listening to Judy, we can keep trying to get the others on because we can add a couple more while Judy's here.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
Judy, I am so excited for everybody to hear your story because where Daryl was in a tough spot with his health, you were actually pretty dang healthy when you learned about this.
Yes, I
But
was.
maybe you could tell everybody what some of your struggles were, because there were a very small few at your age. I feel like you're just the goals for all of us if we can be as healthy as you, right? But you did have a few struggles. Maybe you could tell us what those were and what you've noticed since using the protocol.
I am telling you, I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share again because all my life, well, not all my life, but since I was 37, I nearly died because I had kidney problems with pregnancy and the whole story. So I started doing different things all these years. People have laughed at me. That's okay. They can laugh at me. However, you know, when I heard Daryl's story about this, it just rang true to me that this is easy, number one, and number two, that it works. Well, a couple of things I want to mention. I will be celebrating the 45th anniversary of my 39th birthday in July. And I know, figure it out. And I walk all the time. I've been walking over 1,500 days in a row, and I do anywhere from 5 to 8 miles a day. I love it. I don't have a whole lot of pain. But I went out to do I love to garden, and I went out to garden one day here just a couple of weeks ago, and I spent several hours bending over, pulling weeds, moving boxes, and picking up dirt and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, oh boy, the morning is going to tell on me because I hadn't done it for a while. So in the morning, I had no problem. I loved it. So no excuses. I had to go back out and dig in the dirt again, and I love that. But I'll tell you what's even more exciting to me, not only the energy, some of the brain fog has been lifting, mood enhancing, you can sometimes wake up and go, oh my gosh, but I love that I don't have that problem. But what's even more exciting to me is I'm one of 8. I have 5 sisters, 3 brothers. Well, now, with thanks to Daryl and Annie, what he's experienced and what I'm experiencing, all 5 of the girls and their husbands are on this protocol. And some of them are on this right now because I see their names coming up. We've all been experiencing great results. Headaches gone, more energy, depression's gone, hasn't had that. Just, it's wonderful because you can feel confident when you tell somebody about it, that if they follow it, they're going to be able to reap results. And everybody's going to have a different story because they have different things that they need, their bodies need to improve on. But it's so exciting to be able to share something that works. And I love it.
Oops.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Is it on our end?
There we go. Sorry.
There we go.
Judy. Okay, I want to make a big deal about the fact that you experienced that muscle recovery.
Mhm.
Because you might just think, well, she might just be making that up because, you know, she's using this system. There's actually science behind that. The mate helps with muscle recovery. And so people notice this. We actually have an Olympic 100-mile runner who uses this at his stop. You know, they set up those drink stations when people are running, and they run and they grab their drink and they pound it and they keep going. He chooses Unimate as his drink at his station. And the reason is because of the recovery it gives him. And he says, you know, if I do a 25-mile run one day, I can't be sore the next day. And so, like, what? Excuse me, I would be dead the next day. But the amazing things that this can do for you. So Judy experiencing that muscle recovery is real, right? And this is where you can see, you know, the variety of your different siblings. Depression for one, muscle recovery for another, mood boost for all, energy. I mean, Annie experiencing the swelling of her thyroid decreasing. Those types of things, you're exactly right, because it impacts everybody differently. Insulin resistance impacts everybody differently. Our results are going to be slightly different. But the beauty is you can recommend this with confidence because there is a 90-day money back guarantee. And that's through the manufacturer. So if you go all in and you drink every last packet, and for any reason you are unsatisfied, you can just get your money back. But what I can guarantee you is that if you do that, if you go all in, you drink the drinks, you do the protocol, you will have measurable, provable results. In fact, Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think even at your fit, healthy age, you've moved the scale a little bit.
I have. I've dropped 8 pounds, and that's always exciting. I don't have too much to go. The other thing that I want to mention too is that if you don't have weight that you need to lose, this balances your body. So you're not just going to drop weight. If you don't need to, you're not going to. Am I correct?
You're exactly right. Yeah. This isn't a weight loss system at all. I mean, it just happens to be probably the biggest side effect. And the reason it's a big side effect is because when you get your hormones and your metabolism, when you get that hormone insulin balanced, a lot of people do have some excess weight and their body's going to finally be able to release that. And so it's a common side effect, but I've been using it for over 2 years. And I mean, I would have withered away by now if I was just going to keep losing weight. That's not how it happens. You know, you stabilize and you get to your healthy set point. And for some people, I saw some questions. How soon do you lose weight? How quick can you expect results? I'm going to be totally honest with you. I mean, some people, their first sip, they're like, this stuff is amazing. I love it. I was not that way. In fact, I actually felt a little worse for the first 3 weeks, but I stuck with it because I was hearing the stories and I was hearing all of the proof, and I just kept that anchor in my mind and I kept going. And really my best results came a little later and have continued after the 90 days. And so I just highly recommend that you go all in. The 90-day thing, and for those of you that order before May 1st, Unicity is running a study right now. You can't have used the protocol before. You have to be a brand new customer. But if you're a brand new customer and you're willing to take an at-home A1C test, then they will send one to you and you can take the test now and take another one in 90 days. And they will actually give you enough product credit that covers an entire system if you last the entire 90 days. They know that this works. and they want to prove it with this study. And so anybody who's willing to participate, you have access to be in that study, which I think is pretty bold for the company to be like, we want you to prove it with numbers. Numbers don't lie, you know? I mean, we're hearing Daryl's story. We know it from him. But to put that out to the masses, I think it shows that the company knows what they have and they want to prove it.
Well,
They want to prove it over and over.
the other thing, I'm watching some of the comments too, but the other thing that I want to mention is it's like the 10-year NFL player that was on last week. He said, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. And it is easy, comparable to a lot of the other things I've done. Yeah, I love it. So there's my comments.
Okay, so why do you say it's easy? Like, what have you tried that's been harder?
Well, you know, the diets that you have to have so many calories, stay away from fats, eat fats, you know, whatever the diet is. And that's the thing about this, that they're not telling you that you have to have a certain diet.
Right.
You don't have a certain diet. And it also takes away your desire for, you know, lots of carbs, because a lot of us are carb eaters or have been carb eaters. And so it's just so much easier because you make your bottle of umamate in the morning and you just sip on it. Now, what I like to do is make mine, then just keep adding water to it, so I get more water in that way. And then, you know, the fiber, have your fiber before you have your last meal or your biggest meal or in the middle of the day. There's just so many things that you can work with this on that it's just easy. You know, if one thing doesn't seem quite right, get with your coach, like you say. There's people out here to help you and figure. It's like Annie said, all things are figure outable. But
Yeah.
Can I mention two things?
Please.
Number one, there was a question about kidneys and how this affects the kidney. And number two, Angela should be right there next to Mom.
Yeah.
I really would like to hear what Angela has to say.
Oh, I'm so glad
There she
she's
is.
here. Yay.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so yes, Angela, before we jump in, I'm going to answer that question real quick. So a lot of people are asking about ordering. Here's my recommendation. Start with lemon on your mate. I like the lemon ginger best, but I am unique in that way. It does have a kick to it. If you like ginger, then go for it. But if you're not a big ginger fan, just do lemon. And then I'm team berry, but what about you guys? Do you like berry or orange better?
I like the berry. I like the berry. Yes.
I like orange.
Okay.
Oddball.
See, you know what? I'll be honest. It's 50-50. So whichever one sounds better to you, just go for it. You can't go wrong there. But you know, you can do one month and then change up your flavors the next month. You do not have to be a diabetic to use this product. In the physician's desk reference, which is the doctor's book that has every medication, both products are listed by name, and it says in there that they can be used alongside any medication. So that's the good news. I see a lot of people, I need to check with my doctor. I need to check with my doctor. And by all means, you can absolutely check with your doctor. But just know that it would be listed there if they were not supposed to be taken with any certain medications. That's what that book is for, is like, don't take this medicine with that medicine. But these are allowed to be taken alongside any medication. So it's kind of cool. Kidney, we have a lot of incredible success stories with people with kidney issues. Those are anecdotal. Those are just stories that we could share with you. I want to be clear that I'm not saying it's going to cure or reverse anything specific, but I have seen miracles with kidney problems. And so definitely something you could consider. The only thing is, if you're at an advanced stage and you're limiting your fluids, you want to follow your doctor's counsel on that. You don't want to drink too much fluids. But Angela, let's talk to you. Tell me where you were at with your health prior to starting this. Like, what piqued your interest? Why were you willing to try it? What were you struggling with?
Well, of course, Annie piqued my interest. She's the one who talked to me about it. I was seeing Daryl lose weight. She was, you know, her and I talk all the time. And so she was just telling me about what Daryl was doing. And then she had also listened to, I guess it was a podcast or something, where she had heard about somebody who seem to be having some of the similar issues that I've been having. So like for me, I have been having a really hard time with pain in my body. Several different, last year I went to the doctor. We tried to figure out so many different things, still haven't been able to figure it out exactly. So it really kind of started out with like swelling in my hands about 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I've been trying to figure out why I swell on my hands, but haven't been able to figure that out. And so the last probably about 2.5 years, I've just really started feeling like pain in my feet, pain in my hands, in my ankles. And then it started slowly going into like my knees. And I don't see the swelling in my feet and my knees, only in my hands, but I feel the pain.
Yeah.
And I feel like a pressure or some kind of thing. So, so long story short, last year I was going to the doctor, trying to figure out a whole bunch of different things. We ended up finding out that, of course, I have fatty liver, and like so many people. So I'm assuming, it feels like I probably have the insulin resistance issue as well. But I've always been very healthy. I've always exercised. I eat pretty healthy. I mean, I do have my goodies here and there, but in general, I eat pretty healthy. So it made no sense to me why am I having a fatty liver disease? How did that get there? And so by hearing the stories of what's happened here, so many people are having that kind of same issue happen, even when they're eating healthy. So so I started this. Annie was excited to share it with me, and she shared it with me. I started this about 7 weeks ago. And probably I started feeling a little bit more of like the effects from it, like not feeling so much pain. It took about 2 weeks where I started really feeling some differences. And I was feeling really tired. I was like, what is happening? Because I'm supposed to be feeling energy. And so I don't know if it was my body detoxing or that kind of a thing, but and it was really strange because at the same time I'm feeling like also a clarity, because I'm an office manager. My work is like all over the place as far as all the different kind of things that I do. And I was struggling with focusing, and I do feel like this has really helped me be able to clarify and focus. And so I'm super excited about being able to see more of that change in my body, because I have had this relief. It's not completely gone. I do still have some swelling here and there, but the swelling is so much better. So I'm super excited about that. I'm excited to go back to the doctor to see what kind of changes there might be, because I remember in December, I also had a CT of my abdomen, and found out that I have enlarged lymph nodes and a herniated inguinal canal. So I'm interested in finding out, what kind of changes this might be making for me.
Oh my gosh. One thing I want to comment on is the liver thing, because for years, non-alcoholic fatty liver, fatty liver was something that was just alcoholics, and it wasn't something that affected the general public. And now the number of people who have fatty liver disease, even children who have fatty liver disease, is so high. And so you are not alone in that at all. In fact, most people don't know they have it because it's pretty symptomless until it gets to really advanced stages. And so usually people have no idea that they have fatty liver disease until they are running tests for something else and they go, what? Kind of like your situation. But what you are noticing is your body yelling at you with all these other triggers, these other pains, this inflammation. For some people, it's neuropathy. For other people, it's osteoarthritis or arthritis or other itises like ulcerative colitis, or I'm sure all of a sudden I'm blanking on all the itises, diverticulitis. There's all these different itises that are essentially inflammation in your body. And what you are experiencing in your hands and the pain, I think one of the most frustrating things is going to the doctor and feeling like there's not really a great explanation for you. It's just like this general blanket statement of like, it's inflammation, right?
Yeah, I know it's not right. I was thinking it was because I'm aging, but you know, I mean, I'm in my 50s, so it just that's supposed to come with it, right? And
No.
but my husband doesn't feel it, and my sister doesn't feel it, and so I'm like, something is not right. And so yes, it is hard when you don't have the answers.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just say, I don't know what's happening with your family genetics, but your skin, like how you look so young. I'm shocked. Truly. Let's blame that on the protocol too, okay? Your skin's
Well,
glowing.
actually, let me do, yeah, because that is something that I did not talk about. So I feel I was starting to get like skin tags and that kind of stuff here on my neck. And then I've also struggled with like dry spots on the back of my arms and on the side of my legs. And I feel like that is actually clearing. And so that is very exciting. Thank you for thinking of that or reminding me of that.
Hey, no, that's actually a big deal. And you know, most of us go, oh, I have eczema or psoriasis or dry skin, or I have skin tags or that darkening of the pigmentation. Or some people get like on their back right here, like a little bit of a fat pad there, and they go, oh, it's genetic. Like other people in my family have. No, all of that is insulin resistance trying to tell you something, right? And so I think it's so interesting to now look and go, oh, some of that stuff is resolving, right? But
Yeah.
it 100% makes sense to me. So thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. If you could say something to the skeptical person who's hearing about this and is like, okay, this is sounding a little too good to be true. They've rattled off about 1,000 different solutions this thing gives. Like, what would you say to that skeptical person?
Well, that would be me. You know, there's so many different things out there that it's just like another thing. And I've tried many, many different things. I'm a little bit like my mother. I like the more natural things. Let me try to do things more naturally. You know, I just think there's a lot to that. However, you know, when this came along, I was like, oh, I got to spend money on another thing to try it out. And so I was like, I'm not sure I'm not sure I want to do that. But the way that it was explained to me, you know, when you fast and you save the money and put it in that, and then because you get the 90 days money back guarantee, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try one more thing. And I'm very excited about it. I'm so thankful my sister, of course, thought of me, but also Daryl, you know, seeing just the changes for him is amazing. So not really skeptical anymore.
Mm,
Good girl.
thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I will say
I love it.
that I was totally skeptical, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and I've shared that with you guys. I was like, but we kind of were at the end of our rope, and I had really listened to Jody a lot, and I had listened to Brittney a lot, and I thought, okay, I trust them. And so I don't think they're going to lead me in the wrong direction. And so that's why when Daryl and I tried it, we didn't say anything. Like for like almost 4 months, we didn't say anything to anybody because we just wanted to make sure, especially our precious followers that we love so much, that are struggling with all the same things that we are. We didn't want to share something that didn't work. And so we just didn't say anything until we knew. And now, you know, it's like I told Daryl, I'm like, especially this past week after he got back all of his results, and here we are at the anniversary of his stroke, like we have found the answers to his problems that we 11 years tried so hard to like figure out how to help him. And now in 6 months, it's worked, and it seems crazy. But anyway, I was the biggest skeptic of all on the planet.
Well,
and then I called Angela and I was like, listen, I know you have all of these things going on, but I just have to tell you about this, and it may or may not work, but try it out. So anyway.
well, I really appreciate, I'm glad you guys took the leap of faith. I mean, really, anybody listening to you have nothing to lose. The worst case scenario is it doesn't work for you, you return it, right? But I haven't seen that happen for somebody who uses it properly and consistently.
Right.
And I just think about how many people are just rattling off their diagnosis, their symptoms, what they're struggling with. And I just want you to know you're not alone. Like, it's not your fault. in a lot of ways, the system is trying to set you up for failure. And I mean, look at Daryl, the most responsible person ever, going to his 3-month checkups, not missing a doctor appointment, taking everything they told him to take, A1C creeping up, 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 up. And then being able to go from medicated type 2 diabetic with a high A1C to not even in a diabetic range A1C in this many months using this protocol. I mean, you can say, oh, it's a coincidence if you want, but it's hard to deny that
Not
this
at
has
all.
obviously made a massive impact. And
Yeah.
I just want to say, people are like, what if you can't fast? What? Just start drinking the drinks and see what happens for you. I really feel like we can meet people where they're at on this. If you need to start with 3 meals a day, start with 3 meals a day and gradually work your way into more fasting. That's what we mean when we're here to coach you and help you along your journey. You're not going to buy this and just be out, figuring it out on your own. We have lots of great tools to anchor you and teach you how to do this in a way that's going to help you. And you're going to have full access to all of that. Have we been able to get Becky on? Is there anything
I'm going to try.
failing with that?
I'm going to try one more time, but it gives us a message that says we can't add her on this broadcast. So
Yeah, it could be something with her. She might need to give permissions on her end.
Oh,
And we'll try to figure that out for the next time. Maybe we're going to have to do this again with Becky, because Becky is actually somebody who started learning about this when you guys did your first live. And not only has Becky seen results for herself, but she's started sharing it with other people in her life, kind of like, hey, I'm going to try this. Come do it with me. Right. And the people in her life are having phenomenal results. And so it's this exciting thing for Becky, because it's kind of like you guys. It's not just you, it's all these other people who you care about. And everybody's kind of looking at each other going, is this really happening? This is kind of amazing, right? And that is such a fun thing to be part of. Like I say this all the time, and I really mean it. I didn't get into this for the money. Like I got into this because I wanted to help people, and because I believed that there was a better way, and that if I could just, even if nobody ever wants to buy this, if I could teach them something that improves their health, that would be worth it to me. But what I can tell you now is it's the most wholesome way I've ever made money, and you really can do both. You can help people, and this is something where when you share and refer, at the very least, get product credit. As a customer, you get product credit if you share your link, right? But if this is something that you could see yourself sharing about more, and you'd like to link arms with us and help people feel better, we're about to blow this up. I mean, we want to share this with as many people as we can. This is in over 50 countries, so it's not just here, it's everywhere that we want to share, but nobody in America really knows about this yet. This is brand new, knocking on the door here. And so we're trying to tell as many people as we can. So that's something that interests you. Comment Zoom. We'll make sure you have the information to come and join us on Wednesday on those calls. And if you just want to learn more about the science, comment science. We'll make sure you know how to join the science call. That's for everyone. These are just informative for you to learn and get more information. Anything else you guys want to share before we wrap up?
I do want to share, just because I've seen a lot of people ask if his doctor took him off medication. And so this was a really interesting experience for us when we went to the doctor on Wednesday. It was Wednesday. She did not, she was willing to take him off metformin, but we could just tell. We tried to tell her, we took in the 2 little packets and we said, this is really what you need to be sharing, because this has helped. I mean, anyway, so they were not willing to take him off of any medication, and we were very surprised by that. And so we actually decided, we stood out in the parking lot. We've been with this doctor's office for 11 years. And we were so excited to tell them where we were at, and we felt like they would be too. And we did not have that experience. So then we stood out in the parking lot for like 10 or 15 minutes, almost kind of grieving, because we knew that we were going to have to change doctors in order for Daryl to be taken off this medication, because they had told him over the course of this 11 years, they had said, Daryl, you're never going to get off medication. And I was like, I don't know if that's really true. But anywho, Daryl has an appointment with a doctor on May 13th, I think. So Daryl's physical therapist, who now owns her own wellness center, gave us the name of a doctor that she loves that's more like use medication if you need it, but also likes holistic. They would be willing to listen to this. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's where we're at, because I know a lot of people are like wondering if they took him off and all the thing, and it was like we were surprised
Yeah.
Yes.
and disappointed.
Yeah.
But we know it works, because I mean, that was part of my feeling was I'm like, look at him. He is proof in the pudding, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
so I just saw a lot of that. So I did want to address that.
And I appreciate you sharing that. I think that a lot of people, you know, I hate to say it, I wish I was more surprised. I really wish I was, but I've heard that a lot. And I think it's understandable, because look, from these doctors' perspective, this sounds like some hokey thing to them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, no, it was the medication that got his numbers amazing. That's why he lost weight, because that's what they know works. They're not trying to hurt him. They just don't know. And then every now and then you get a doctor that goes, I'm so sick of the revolving door and not feeling like anyone's ever truly healing.
Right.
And I got into medicine because I actually wanted to help people with their health. And I feel like the system isn't helping. And now you're finding that doctor, and you're going to go meet with them, and they're going to be thrilled to help him
Right.
find a more natural way, right? And that's just the truth about all of us, is we kind of have to be our own advocates. And if you're not getting what you're looking for with your current provider, you might need to shop around a little bit.
Mhm.
They're trying to help you with the tools they have, but you might be ready for something else now.
Right. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. But
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you sharing that. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
We're
Any
gonna try
last
Becky
words?
one more time.
Oh, yeah, try
No.
Becky one more time. No,
Okay.
dang it. Okay, Judy and Angela, any last words from either of you?
I just want to say again, I'm excited about this because in my personal time with this, which I'm coming close to 2 months now, and I've shared it with many people and our family members, everybody is experiencing positive changes.
Yeah.
A lot of questions saying, well, do you have to be a diabetic to do this? No, you don't have to be anything to do this. It's just that it enhances, if you don't have problems, it enhances how you feel. I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't want to be happier, more energy, clearer thinking? Who doesn't want that? And it is. And what I love too, because like I said earlier, for those that didn't make it, my sister Lynette's on here now. Of all my sisters and their husbands that are on that, I'm just seeing less and less of them. And they're happy about it.
I love it.
That's
Well,
fun.
and listen,
That's funny.
if you know Judy, you got to reach out to Judy, because Judy she can give you her code. You can get the $75 off through Judy, and you'll get lumped into our group. Okay. So it doesn't really matter. Anybody on our team who you purchase through gives you the discount and gives you full access to all that we offer. We work as a team. So just know that, we want to help you and support you, and we want to make sure that you're getting taken care of on the back end of that. So
One thing, Brittany, I know Becky has some people on here as well. So the same with Becky.
Yes.
If Becky invited you on, please go through her as well.
Circle back with Becky. Becky gives the exact same discount that Daryl and Annie give. By the way, it's the same price that I pay. We're not paying less for our product. We're all buying it direct from the manufacturer through this link. Okay. So this is the same way that we get our product. We're just able to pass that discount along to you. But yeah, if you purchase through that link, you are going to be connected to our support. So.
And one more time, go to missannieshomeandkitchen.com/fiber, and you'll learn all about it. You'll see what it is,
Yep.
where to get it, and all that fun stuff.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, so glad you spent time with us tonight. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It's such a pleasure to be with your audience. I mean, how interactive and how responsive everybody is. It makes it so fun. So for everybody in the comment section tonight, like, just thank you for participating. Really appreciate having you be there. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Mom, thanks for coming on. Angela, I hope you're coming up with Mom and you're going to surprise me tomorrow. That would be so fun.
That was so
It would be
fun.
That would
fun.
be so fun.
Then I can meet all of you.
Yes, yes.
That would be
And we can't wait to see you tomorrow, Brittney. So everybody, we are so glad that you guys came on. Thank you for being so kind. Thank you for asking. There's so many questions. If you'll go back, I think, and just watch this live, you guys will be able to, like, a lot of you guys have questions. So go back and just, you'll be able to, like, have some of those questions answered. And so anyway, we just want to tell you guys how much we love you and we appreciate you. And we always end our calls with, we're going to remind everybody to be
Stronger every day.
know that you can do hard things. All right, everyone, have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.